everyone, welcome to the last part, I think, of this planner page using Polychromos pencils. Now we're going to finish the house first and then work on the other elements. I'm looking at the bricks on the front door, and the first thing I want to do is to fill in the little gaps between them. I don't know if you can see, I'm just grabbing my dark sepia. Can you see in here and here there are little gaps? Let's come in closer so you can see. There we go. And I'm going to use my dark sepia to just fill those in. And what I'm also going to do is darken the lines between them. I think it looks a little bit better with bricks to sort of have some darkness there. Now, normally, with stones, normally the cement is lighter than the bricks, but I think if you put it in darker, it makes it look like there's some shadow between those bricks, and I think I personally prefer it. You know, it's up to you, but you couldn't really, well, you'd see the black lines if you did it lighter. I just somehow feel that, whoops, this way looks better to me. So that is the beginning. Quite straightforward. Now we want a lighter grey to do the bricks with. I'm going to use, what shall I use? I think I'm going to use the warm grey 5. It was a hard decision. There we go. And what I'm going to do with each brick is to work my way around, so starting on the outside edge with a darker amount and then just trying to lighten towards the middle a little bit, like that, and we do that on each one. Now you can do them slightly different colours of grey if you wish. I'm just going to put a bit of shadow there around that door. I prefer them looking the same. If it was my house, I'd want the same colour stones, but you know, if you feel that it would look more realistic with different colours, and you can use your cold grey 4 and 6 as well, even 3, and do different coloured bricks or stones. I don't know why I think these are stones rather than bricks. I think it's just their size. Bricks, I mean, they're stone bricks, aren't they? If we're being pedantic. Bricks tend to be squarer, and of course a sort of terracotta-y colour. But I think this is fun. It sort of makes it look more rustic, and I think for this sort of house out in the country is what I'm thinking. Maybe it isn't. It's got a big front. I guess is this the back of the house? You don't hang your washing in your front garden. Well, I know a few people who do, to be fair, but they only have a front garden, nowhere else to hang it. But they don't really. They look like they would have a back garden. It sounds a bit odd, but it's a big house. Surely it would have a back garden. So surely this is the back garden. But then there's a map with the letter, with the post on it. And by the way, in the UK, nobody does that. They don't leave letters on the map. People have a letterbox for their letters. We've got an extra large letterbox. We purposely had a larger one built and put in our door when we ordered and when we got a new door, so that it could fit like A4 things through. So when we had books delivered and things, we didn't have to have someone in. It's quite handy. Because husband knows he's all, oh, I nearly forgot that one, always buying books. Now these steps I'm going to do next, as I've got a grey in my hand. I'm going to use this darker grey for these treads. I think the treads will be slightly darker. I'm going to make them darker on the edge, a bit lighter in the middle. Bit of a, looks like there's supposed to be a bit of a dip there, a be a bit darker. There we go. And then the same here. I've just put my washing machine on. I had lunch to come back and do this, and I noticed this morning I'd asked husband to bring the washing down. Now, maybe I'm being a bit fussy, but if I was asked to bring the washing down, I would assume that it needed to go on and I would put it on, but he just brought it down and left it, and I hadn't realised or thought about it. I assumed he would put it on. I was doing breakfast and lunch boxes and things, and then it slipped my mind. I guess it might have slipped his mind too, and it never got put on. Whoops! Pencil sliding everywhere. Still, I'm going to use the Warm Grey 3. This is quite a lot lighter. It might be too light, but I'm just going to see how it looks, because I'm thinking light would be hitting the top of the steps. And maybe they would be light, but maybe it's a little bit too light. I think I'll grab the darker one and just put some shadows in, see how that works out for us. So this is the Warm Grey 4. That's what we use for the roof, I think. So I'm just going to put a bit in there. It's really blunt. I'm going to sharpen it and then I can get some finer details in. There we go. Excuse me. There we go. So a little bit of shadow under the step. There'll be some there. I think there'll be a bit around the mat. Around the letters, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, now the front door. I was thinking I'd quite like to do it red, but I don't want it to do it like scarlet, crimson, that sort of red. So I thought I might grab this red. This is the Venetian red, and I thought that might be a slightly more what's the word I'm looking for, muted red. And so I can hear my washing machine now. I hope it's not too loud. I didn't shut the office door, so I'm just going to fill it all in, and it looks probably a bit too similar to the sanguine if I'm honest, but I think it will work because I'm going to use another muted red for our plant pots. I might just do that now actually while I think about it, although you know I haven't finished the house, but we've got to do it all anyway. So I'm going to use the Pompeian red for the flower pots, all of them matching. So we just put a layer on all of them. And then I'll think about how it looks and think about what to do. Okay, let's start with this one. So if we put a bit more colour, sorry, so you can see on the edges first, and the bottom, and then fade it towards the middle, so just blend it out a bit. Our pot looks a little bit more rounded and more interesting. Do the same with this one, so a bit here and here. And the same as that one, and then over here too. And they stand out a little bit from the house, but they match, which I think is rather nice. And the doormat. Now I'm going to put down a sort of more intense amount of this colour here. . like that. And for the dots, I thought I might do a sort of light yellow ochre, and then it will sort of match the windows with a little bit of the light. It's got that, still got that earthy colour. Now the letters, I was thinking I could do one brown, like it's a bill, but it's not very nice, is it? No more nice to get a bit letter like that. Just fiddling around with my pencils. So I might do that because I can't think of anything else to do. So here is a brown ochre. I'll make that one sort of brownish. Really faint because they're not that dark. It's just like a rough paper. Maybe I don't really want to leave that one white. So I'm just going to grab this colour, which is the Salmon, although mine says dark flesh because it's old, and just put that on. I think it will sort of blend in a bit with the matte. There. Right, now leaves on the roof. I think it's time we did these. I'm thinking the more of a browny green, so I'm actually going to go for the olive green yellowish and do them all this colour, because I think I don't want them to sort of stand out and be a feature really, so they'll sort of blend back, sit back a bit with this colour. I'm trying to remember what colours I use for the wood, because we've got that wooden chest to do. But maybe it doesn't matter. Also thinking about the clothing and the towels. Tempted to do them sort of green gold or something, you know, earthy again, but not all the same colour. Talking of gold, my neighbour, well, not a neighbour, lives in a few streets away. When they put their washing out, they have gold sheets. It's quite extravagant, isn't it? I'm sure they're not, they might be mega expensive, but, you know, it's just, I think, wow. To be honest, I always like the idea of something really chintzy, you know, Laura Ashley like, Kath Kidston like, you know, florals, light florals. My ideal bedroom, I was thinking, would be like a dusky pink. I know I don't like pink. And some walls dusky pink, some walls are sort of light green. Like I can't describe the green, sort of almost not quite an earth green, greyish but not too muted, not bright, and then and a pale pink as well, so pale colours, and then a gold bedstead, which would be absolutely no good, you know, with the at the end the headboard and the base of the bed have the metal. I mean, it'd be no good. It's completely impractical because my legs are too long as our husbands. We'd be smacking them against the end of the bed all the time. And yes, these sort of chintzy flowery sheets with pink and green leaves on. Now the roof needs redoing because it looks really messy, and can I remember what colour I did it? I think it was warm grey fall. So I'm just going to put our house back and just go around where it looks a bit messy around these leaves where I've missed bits. I knew I'd have to do this. It's not as bad as if I use pen. The white really shows up then because the pens are so intense in their colour that any bit of white paper you leave really stands out. As it does with pencil if you zoom in on your camera. But I always feel that when I zoom in and you can see my mistakes, that's fine, because you know that you can make mistakes too, and in the end when you zoom out and you're looking from a distance you can't see them. Right, I am just going to grab a Bistre. for my wooden chest. I'm assuming this has got all the gardening equipment in, trowel and what else would you have? I can hear my washing machine so loudly. Yeah, trowel, little watering can. Maybe I'm just going to make that bit darker. And then I want the sepia. Here it is. My washing machine sounds like it's coming into land. So the sepia, I could be a bit more in the middle, couldn't I? I'm going to use to put a shadow under here, which I tried already, and just some wooden, just to emphasise these lines and put a few more in, though it looks really wooden, a bit old, gnarly. We used that word yesterday. There we go. Now, is this a bottle of weed killer? What do you reckon? I don't think so. I'm thinking I am going to go for this colour that I can't get out of my pencil tin. Oh, there it is. Oh, I knocked everything flying. It is the burnt carmine. So it's a reddish colour which will sort of match our colour scheme, but it won't be, but it'll be a little bit different. So I'm going to go around the edge with my darkest bit. What do you think it is? Magic potion. We want it to be lighter in the middle so it looks like it's sort of shiny glass, but not too shiny. Now this colour is ideal for putting a bit of shadow in our pots here. So just where they overlap. So although we put a bit more colour down, it wasn't that obvious. I don't know if that's really made that much of a difference anyway. Right, now where should we go? I think we might do this because I'm prone to forgetting it. I want to do it in silvery colours. I think they'll match quite well with the colours we've done already. We can do it quite simply, seeing as we don't have a lot of space. It's quite small. So this is the Coal Grey 4. Oh dear. And I'm going to just make it really dark here. And here. And leave a little gap for some shine. I'm even going to make that look silvery like that. And then I'm going to use the colour in there that I used for the windows, which was, I just looked it up, cadmium yellow. Is that it? Yeah. I should have done it when I did the windows. I was tempted to, but I thought that it would look a bit odd, just doing that and not the whole thing. There we go. Okay, now where should we go? We could go up here. We've got Chimney Bird. I'm thinking bird is a weather vane, so we're going with our Coal Grey again. I'm going to do him quite pale. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do him dark in the tail, dark in the top, and then leave a bit in the middle like he's shiny. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the chimney, because I think it looks like it's made of tin, but I'm going to do it in grey so that it matches, whoops, the roof like this. So making more intense colour on the edges, leaving a little bit of white paper for some shine. Really simple. Okay, how long can I procrastinate the washing for? Let's do the little bowl of pegs. I'm going to use the brown ochre for all the pegs. I'm going to start with the ones on the washing line. Now pegs aren't particularly dark wood, so I'm trying to keep it fairly light, enough colour so you can see that I've coloured it in, but not too dark. I think this looks like a little bowl of chips or fries, French fries, what do you call them? Right, our washing basket, I think we can do that in browns as well. It's quite cute, isn't it? I'm quite liking this brown ochre, actually, the warmth. So we'll use this as our base. We'll need another brown as well. We'll just pop this down. And things aren't going to dry very well left in the basket. Do you think the phone rang? They got called in when they were hanging up the washing. The Van Dyck brown next. We'll put some details. So this inside bit is going to be a little bit darker. Sorry, a bit far away, wasn't I? And this inside bit here. Then under this rim, be really dark. And then I'm just going to put a little bit on each end. And then just a tad there and there. There we go. Now our clothing. Oh, let's do the peg. I'm going to grab this Van Dyck brown again for a minute. I want to do this brown right here is too faint. Just putting a bit more. I don't think it's the right colour, but it's done now. It looks a bit better. Now let's do this peg box, the burnt carmine. It will just balance out that quite dark colour on the other side of the picture. So just fading it towards the middle of our bowl. There we go. Now clothing. I'm thinking maybe the Venetian red, the Pompeian red might work. So I'm going to grab the Venetian red for the t-shirt. Ooh, smock top. I don't know what it is. It looks really baggy. Oh, my son's just asked me a question. Hang on. My son was just asking me why all the trains were delayed, but his isn't. There's unfortunately flooding on some of the lines. It's creating cancellations and all sorts of things. Here, the sun's shining, which I'm doing the insides a bit darker, which sounds nice, but it's in my eyes. I'm never happy with the sunshine though. You know me. I prefer rain and cold. Right, there is that. I'm going to use the burnt carmine to do a little bit more shadow on the edge of the sleeve and the edge of the... Oh, gosh, that made me jump. Dog. Hush, little dog. There we go. Now the towels. I know, let's do one in a sort of stripe. Let's grab our Pompeian red. Here he is. I'm thinking it'll be easier on this one. That one's with the turnover. That's quite difficult. And I'm going to try and make like a striped drying up cloth type thing. Oops, I've gone out of the lines. That wasn't part of the plan. Let's just try and erase that. There, better. There is a sort of checkered, not striped, checkered cloth. Put a bit more colour on it. And the other one, I think I need to do in a sort of... See, I want to do it in an earthy brown colour, but then it'll just look grubby. Or if I do it in a sort of green gold. Yeah, let's do that. What's that colour? We'll use the light yellow ochre, not green gold. See what it looks like. I'm going to do it lightly. I don't want it sort of standing out like the windows do, because I don't think it should be. And then I'm going to use, where is it? The dark sepia. There it is, to do a little bit of shading really gently. So here, where it's turned over, every bit of shadow. Like that, bit here. And there'd also be a bit on this one. There we go, I'm going to leave it there. But we have got a few bits in the basket. And I'm going to go, no, not that one. I'm going to go back to my Pompeian red and do a bit of the in front of the basket. I was just reading a message from my son. He's like, there's a Bristol train on my platform. It's got to get out the way before my train can come. I said, oh, yeah, 15 minutes. And I said, give it a push, get it out of the way. Like, I want the green gold. I picked up the wrong one. Let's see if that's because it's here. I haven't used it yet today. Well, I have used it today, not in this session. There we go. Okay, now we have sky and we have smoke. I'm going to come out and have a think about the sky, because although I want to do it blue, I don't want to do it really bright. So I think I'm going to use this colour. This is the light ultramarine. And I'm just going to get going and talk to you. Yes, he said there's a train in the way, and I said, oh, just give it a push. But he says it's moved now, but now his train is delayed. But he said probably because it's been waiting for all the other trains to get out of the way. Which he's probably right. So I'm doing a little circular movement because I'm hoping this will be my only layer of sky, and it tends to give a more even application. Now you can use soft pastels for this if you would rather. It would certainly be easier to get an even finish and a bit quicker. And there's my washing machine finished. I'm going to go and hang my washing up. I'll be back. Right, that is the washing hung up. How very exciting. And let's carry on with our sky. Oops, we want the slightly blunter end of the pencil. It stops you being able to see the lines so much. Yeah, my son messaged, he's waiting for a train. It was late, had loads of cancellations. He said there's flooding in some areas of the country causing cancellations. There's a train's broken down in one place, and there are people trespassing on the railway line somewhere else. So it's quite chaotic. His train somehow is only 5 minutes late. I think it's going to be about 12 minutes late arriving to his station, but it will make some time up before he gets back. So he's fortunate. Although there is a bus he can get, but he's decided he's going to wait for the train, which is better really because he's got a return train ticket. So that's all good. So it's all good. He'll be home soonish. I better hurry up. Not that soon. He's got a train ride and then a sort of 15-minute walk, I guess. He was telling me how it's very much quicker for him to walk to the station than from the station in the town where his uni is, because because it's downhill and uphill, so it's quicker in the downhill direction, which makes perfect sense. It's actually more downhill at this end as well on the way back. So, which is good really, because in the mornings when they leave, or whenever it is they leave, they know how long it takes. But when they're leaving uni, their class might overrun or finish early or whatever, so it's better to be a bit quicker. You always want to be quicker coming home. Anyway, now it's quite a light application of this colour, and I'm quite happy with that. It looks a little bit darker where I started. I often find that's the case actually when I'm colouring larger areas, but it's near the bottom, so it won't really matter. I don't think that it's a bit darker there. I think maybe it would be. This bit's going to be a bit tricky. Trying to use a sharper edge to get between the pots without making it darker. But we've got there. Now I'm tempted to leave the smoke white, but I may not. I will have a think when it's done and have a look. I might put a little bit of grey on it. I don't think I'll go for a magical colour or anything. It would seem a little bit silly. Doesn't fit in with the theme of the picture, I don't think. There we go. Just making sure you can still see the whole page, which you can. Yeah, but yeah, he's in good spirits. He's got to come home and do some homework. Friday afternoon doing homework. But still, adults have to work on Friday afternoons, most of them. So my other son is still having his lunch break, I think. He's done some work, but I think I need to suggest he does a little bit more in a minute. When I finish this and I'm editing. Oh, that's a bit messy. I'll remind him. We do have this border on this picture going all the way around. Now, it's always a bit tricky trying to... Oh, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Oh well, never mind. It's a bit tricky knowing what to do with the border. I'm sort of... You know, black is always quite nice because it sort of finishes things off, but we haven't got much black or any black in this picture, so I feel that might not quite look right. I'm just going over a few areas where I think it doesn't look even. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of light grey in the cloud, and then oh, we are at the top. I can't see for looking. Warm grey too. And what I'm going to do is do a little bit on the edges. Actually, I might do that whole bit that's coming out of the chimney. And then here where Johanna's drawn a few dots. And just fade it off so that the whole cloud isn't grey, just the bits that she's marked. Like that, and sort of taper it off so the edge is white. And I think this one that's in front I'm going to do with the warm grey too, just so it looks a... Sorry, the cold grey, that's cold grey 1. I might use cold grey 2. Sorry to mess about a bit, but I didn't cause confusion. So a bit of grey at the bottom, and then as I say, just taper it off towards the top. Yeah. Now the outside edge. Now I'm thinking what my colour options. I could go for this dark carmine. This is my thought. Let's make it big so you can see it all. My thought is the dark carmine. It's this sort of one of the darkest colours we've used, and there isn't any on the very edge. I've thought about the dark brown, but we've got it right here, so that's no good, and I don't really want a grey. So I am going to use this, the burnt carmine, and I want it quite dark. Now the good thing about this is it's not too risky, because if it looks horrible I can just go over the top of it in a black Posca pen, but to be honest I think a black Posca pen wouldn't look as nice, but we'll see how it all looks once it's done. looks a little bit odd here because we haven't got any of that colour near this corner, but I think it will work. I don't know why, it's just years of experience, I think. Or maybe years of squinting and deciding that it's fine even if it isn't. Probably not that, eh? Oh, my son said his train's arrived, that's good news. He'll end up sitting on it for a little while. They have to time it, of course. If there's a bit of a delay in a pilot, the lines get busy. But at least he can get on. And he can be warm and comfortable, which is nice. I can see I missed a bit of blue there in that very corner. There we go. Now around this house there's a lot of blank. I have seen people put sort of background in, you know, because of this sort of lamp here. You could sort of put some sort of background round and put a shine from the lamp or something, but really I think it just looks nice framed without anything else. But you know, it's up to you. It's interesting, I was just thinking that when I got this book I actually got a second copy before I'd even finished the first copy, whereas I haven't done that with Small Victories. It isn't really because I don't like it, I absolutely love it, but I've just got a lot of books and I keep being sent books, which is really nice, and so I don't really need copies of the same one at the moment. I've gone out the lines there and there. What a mess. Let's just try and tidy it up slightly. Let's make an effort to look like we're that bit's come off better than that bit. There we go. Let's just clean the page off. Oops, I knocked something over then, very clumsy. There we go. It is finished. I am rather pleased with it. I'm not sure about the success of the gravel path, to be honest, but it's a bit different, and you know, it would have looked odd at an angle because it just wouldn't be at an angle. But anyway, because the house isn't at an angle. But anyway, it's done now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I hope you have a really good day and happy colouring.